Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker's hopes for the White House may have just ended today. Prosecutors in Wisconsin today are now alleging Governor Scott Walker personally oversaw what they are describing as a criminal scheme to illegally coordinate fundraising and campaign activity among conservative groups. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel is reporting a federal judge received documents today where state prosecutors described a criminal scheme to skirt state election laws by Walker and his campaign during the 2011-2012 recall elections. Prosecutors allege Governor Walker, conservative groups, and campaign allies of the governor were working in coordination. One of Walker's campaign allies is named R.J. Johnson. In the newly released documents, the prosecutors cite a 2011 email sent by Governor Walker to none other than Karl Rove. The email reads, "Bottom line, RJ helps keep in place a team that is widely successful in Wisconsin. We are running 9 recall elections, and it will be like 9 congressional markets in every market in the state." RJ Johnson is a top advisor to the Wisconsin Club for Growth. This could be the beginning of Walker's downfall. What Democrats have been accusing Walker of all along now has prosecutors alleging Walker broke the law. For more on this, let's turn to our rapid response panel tonight. Wisconsin State Senator Lena Taylor and also Ruth Conniff, editor-in-chief of the Progressive magazine. Great to have both of you with us tonight. Ruth, you first. The state law in Wisconsin is very clear on this. Tell our listeners tonight, what is Walker up against?
Well, we haven't got a conviction here, Ed, but we have a major smoking gun. This is what didn't happen in the first John Doe investigation, which ended with 6 convictions of Walker's closest aides and associates. But Walker himself was never directly implicated in this illegal coordination. Today, we have this email from Walker showing that he himself, as that Milwaukee Journal headline says, is at the center of this illegal scheme. And that's what prosecutors are alleging. And, you know, it's Walker's own words. So that is a major deal. That is a smoking gun. And it shows that he was talking to Karl Rove about coordinating the whole state of Wisconsin, bringing in these, millions of dollars from outside groups into the state in these little tiny races around the state, these 9 districts that he lays out. These are congressional districts. This is going to benefit Rove and the entire nationwide right-wing Republican apparatus to pour money into Wisconsin to get involved in these races. And that coordination is illegal, and that has been the subject of this investigation all along.
Well, on page 144 today, it says prosecutors argue that this scheme, quote, pervaded nearly every aspect of the campaign activities during the 2011 and 2012 elections.
I would suggest that people might want to listen to what we've been saying, since way back in 2011.
Well, what's your anticipation, Senator, of Republicans? What are they ready to stand, do you think, with Scott Walker?
Oh, they've been standing with him the entire time. I mean, the fact that individuals who were 20 feet away from him, got convicted for inappropriate, illegal behavior at the county level, but he says he didn't know. You know that people have been taking a fall for him or a bullet for him or whatever you want to call it for him, covering for him for a long time. I actually believe, I don't know, Ed, whether or not it is going to end. The amount of money we've seen pouring in this state in order to try to defeat Mary Burke, who is an honest and wants to bring the kind of transparency and the kind of really confidence that people can have, not only in their governor as a leader, but also for our state as a whole. We don't want our elections to be tainted by this type of behavior that our governor continues to be tainted with.
Prosecutors
I would hope that Republicans wouldn't stand with him, but it looks like they will.
Yeah, prosecutors also pointed out on page 126, even the National Club for Growth raised concerns about the coordination. If that is the case, Ruth Conniff, what does this do to the governor's race? What does this do for Mary Burke?
I think this is a huge blow to Scott Walker. And I think the important distinction to make here is between Republicans, particularly Republican voters in the state of Wisconsin, and these great big money groups like the Club for Growth in Wisconsin, and the Wall Street Journal, weighed in with an editorial telling Scott Walker, essentially threatening him and saying, do not cut a deal in this investigation to save yourself and sell out these big interests who have been supporting you. It was a stunning admission, basically, by the Wall Street Journal on behalf of these right-wing groups, like, listen, Scott Walker, remember who you're working for. Well, Republican voters in Wisconsin have no desire to see these massive interests come into our state and take control of it. So I think that's an important distinction to make, and I think that people are going to really pay attention to this, and it looks really bad for Walker.
Senator, isn't this a time for the state Democrats to go for the jugular here? I mean, what about impeachment? What about a real call for Scott Walker to come clean on his involvement to see if he has the character to fess up to these emails?
I question if the governor has the character to step up and take accountability in that regard. But what I will say is this. During the recall, people wanted to let him, have his moment. He hadn't done anything illegal. Well, now the rubber is hitting the road.
The Republicans now have two governors that definitely have seen better legal days, and that might be the guy from New Jersey coming up next. Who knows? I don't know. But this is definitely a real dynamic that is going to be one to watch playing out in Wisconsin. Great to have both of you with us tonight. Ruth Conniff of the Progressive Magazine and State Senator Lena Taylor. Thanks so much.